Hello and welcome to Langley. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53 and I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for ARCA Cars at Langley as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 6 official series. If you guys can, make sure you hit like and subscribe. It does a ton to help me out. I'm just a small-time racer here in Wisconsin. Pretty much parked my late model for this year unless we can find some funding. And my daughter is going go-karting all summer, going karting all summer at Millwright Speedway Badger Kart Club here in Wisconsin. So should be a pretty fun summer. She had her first weekend in the kart. She was insanely slow, but she had a ton of fun and she wants to go back, and that's really all that matters. So, um, we'll dive in though here to ARCA cars. Um, Going to be a little different look and feel for you guys this week. So the last couple weeks, whether it was Charlotte or Michigan or Las Vegas, you're able to run multiple grooves and kind of search things around. Short tracks are really my wheelhouse here on iRacing. I have a 7,500 I rating, a good chunk of which from about 5,400 up to 7,500 was done racing late model stocks at tracks just like Langley over the last couple years. Prior to that, it was C-Fix trucks. So you have to change your mindset up here, right? So Langley is very much a single lane on the bottom. It's super hard to pass. It's going to be really hard to pass for you guys because you're all running the same setup with the same gearing, with the same tendencies. So we really have to be smart with what we do. And to combat that, one thing that you can do is qualify really, really well. So let's go over how we're going to qualify really well. So you'll come out on track here. And then what you'll do in the official qualifying session is you're going to go out and you're going to come up along the top side of the track and you're going to tire heat. So it's a gas brake, left right swerve. Just alternate and do that here along the top side of the track. And then while we're tire heating, if you guys can, head over to Impel Motorsports. They're a huge supporter of mine. They get a lot of great Moza products. Should have some next level sim rigs coming up any moment. Um, but here we go. So we get up through the gears into fourth gear, and we're going to go high here in 3 and 4 to get the green flag. This is really going to be a throwaway lap. I'm not really expecting too much out of this lap. I know lap 2 is going to be better. It's always better in the ARCA car. So really we're just testing grip levels, kind of seeing what we have, and then we're going to go here high into 3, and we're going to put a ton of wheel in this car here in the center of the corner. And what that's doing is it's just adding a little bit of tire heat. And anyone that wants to tell you that it's not, I've got the Motec data that tells you that it does put tire heat in the car. So we bring it up really high. We drive it up off the corner. We get our green flag. Now you can already see we're already on the brakes pretty much right after the start finish line. So for this car, normally our braking zone is going to be somewhere in the where the wall changes. For this car, we're going to brake way earlier, pretty much even with Peninsula hardwood mulch, maybe a little bit further behind that. As we look in the cockpit, there's really nothing to base off of where we want to lift, other than maybe, like I said, the hardwood mulch would be kind of where I would look at on the inside wall. If you guys see that, I'll back it up here just so you can see it. So right in here, I would say, maybe, yeah, that's probably about right. So we'll lift and we'll brake going into 1. Now our goal is going to be to bring this left side tire and bring it right around this white dash line. It's kind of the same line that we would run in a late model stock and an SK modified. It's all pretty much the same. So we bring it into the corner and we get that left front right on that white line. So from my cockpit, this is what that looks like. I actually look like I'm over that line, but when we look at the far chase, we can see that we're just right there. So we bring that over and we just kind of use that as our guideline. And then as we go through this corner, we're going to steer the car down and we're going to take it down here onto the apron. And I'm just going to kind of cut this corner, if you will. Now, you'll see some guys who will cut it all the way down to the grass, especially in races if they're trying to pass. But what I found was that in qualifying trim on lap 2, if I got it all the way down to the grass and then got on throttle, the rear end had a tendency to slide and I actually lost time. So by taking this a little bit higher, there's a little bit more grip level and I'm able to get a better drive off the corner. So we take it here. This corner makes like a little bit of a tightening and then it straightens out for a little bit. And right in that zone where it starts to straighten out, this right here in this bend to the straighten out to the bend, this is where we're going to throttle up. It's the same as pretty much any other car that you run here. Your throttle point is pretty much the same. So we'll cut through that bend and we'll kind of play with that throttle. And then as we get back up here onto the track and we start to release our corner, our wheel for the corner exit, we're going to throttle up. And you see here down the backstretch, we're never going to get to completely full throttle. There's just so much horsepower in this car with such little wheels that getting to full throttle is actually going to be a detriment to you, where I think you're just going to spin tires too much. So we look at just getting up there about 100 miles an hour. We're going to lift about the time we're getting to the widest point on the straightaway. So about the Heritage, what is it? Heritage Flooring Company? Hotel Company. So we'll lift there, we'll grab the brake, and we'll carry that brake all the way into the corner. And you can see here I'm taking a little bit of a wide approach. My goal is to keep these right side tires right in this little bit of a contact patch that there is here through the corner. So right through that patch. That's where I want to have my right side tires. There's fresher rubber there, makes everything nice. So we grab that, throttle up, and then we're just going to kind of drive off the corner. Your real throttle point is kind of this red line here on the wall. Once you cross that, that's really where you want to start thinking about throttling up. Pretty much the same point as a late model stock, an SK modified, everything around here. Go through the restart zone, and then we'll throttle up all the way and just drive it off the corner. And your goal when you get off this corner should be to try and drive this car as straight as possible across that start-finish line. We had a 15.641 out of that lap time, so a fairly good lap time. Um, let's go look at the, or let's give you guys a look inside the car here really quick. Should be a quick lap. Here you go. There was your lap around Langley. Let's go to race laps, and I'll give you guys just kind of a few laps here outside the car. So it's kind of that same line, brake, brake, cut there a little bit. Fresh tires, you're going to want to watch how much you're cutting because it has a tendency to step out. Don't drive it in real deep into three, but right side tires right in that patch, and then we drive off. It seemed like to me too, the harder I tried to drive the car into the corner, the slower I actually was. So just backing up that corner, hitting your marks, protecting the bottom is going to be the most important thing that you can do here. When I was growing up, Benny Parsons used to be on ESPN, and whenever they went to Martinsville or North Wilkesboro or even Bristol at that time, he used to say that in order to go faster, sometimes you have to go slower. And I never really understood what he meant by that until I really started to apply it to my real racing and to my iRacing, right? So a lot of guys have a tendency to overdrive the car. So they drive it too hard into the corner, they drive it too hard off, and they're like, man, I'm just losing a lot of time. And it's all about that wheel spin and the weight transfer. So on entry, you got to have that weight to transfer early enough to get you into that corner. And then on exit, you don't want to have so much wheel spin that you can't get back on throttle. So I mean, if you're watching some of these laps, like we had a 732 there, and I was maybe two-third throttle down the front stretch. This lap's going to be a 697, and we're not even getting to full throttle down the front stretch. Like max throttle right there, maybe 90%. By the time we get to the start-finish line, we're back down to, 75%. Down the back stretch, we're at, 75, 80, a little push of a 90%. So one of the things that I saw with this was that tire wear. Initially, early in the run, you feel like you're going to burn off the right rear, but as time goes on, you're going to burn off your right front. So for the race and for qualifying, what I have is a steering ratio of 10 to 1 with a +4 offset and a 62% brake bias. I think it's going to be very, very important for you guys that when you are going to run these races, you go into your options, you go into your controls, and you set a button for your brake bias. Something on your wheel that's easily accessible. One to turn it down to decrease that percentage, one to increase that percentage, and just to help you free it up. And then what you'll do is about 10 laps into your run or 8 laps into your run, you'll start to feel your nose kind of start to slide. And once you start to feel that nose start to slide or the car just doesn't quite feel as free on exit, you're going to want to decrease that brake bias. And you really don't want to get behind because once you get behind, it's going to be super hard for you to get caught back up. So just kind of keep that in mind here this week. It can be a really, really difficult thing to master is the brake bias. But once you get that figured out, you're just going to have so much more car left over that you're not really going to have to worry about anything else. In terms of passing here, it's going to be a frustrating week for you guys. That much I can tell you, and I've said that a couple times in this video. How do you pass here? Well, the easiest way to do it is just to run through somebody, but that takes zero talent. The best way to pass is going to be kind of here in turn one when guys start to cheat low and they're showing low all the time, take a little bit wider entry if you don't have a car right on your bumper. And then when they push out here on exit, you just drive underneath them and you get ready for turn three. A lot of times too, we'll see dive bombs into the corners where guys will dive bomb it in and they'll go down here onto the apron partially and then they'll just slide up in the center and just kind of take the spot. I think that takes a lot less talent than truly setting up a pass. The other big thing is that, we talked about being on throttle and watching how much throttle you're putting in. And if you have somebody who hasn't watched this video all the way through and doesn't know how to make a pass here, you can probably pressure them into throttling up a lot harder on exit and spinning their tires. And then you should be able at some point to get underneath them because they've just they're trying too hard, they're overdriving it. Maybe they drive it too hard into one and they push up a half a lane and you can drive underneath them and get past them. So it should be a pretty fun week. Langley's a great track in these cars. He's just going to be teaching you guys a different way of driving and a different way of thinking with short tracks, right? It's protect the bottom. It's set up a pass. You're going to follow somebody for 20 laps before the opportunity to pass somebody really arises. But you also have to understand that other people in these races, they see what goes on in NASCAR and they don't truly understand what it means to run a short track and they're just going to run right through you. So it might mean you give somebody a lane and you pull up and you let them go past, and 2 laps later, when they've wrecked somebody else, you're gaining your spots right back. But you just got to be patient this week. I think it'll be fun. Head over to the Team 53 Discord. It's linked below. You can head over for our season setup pass. We'll do it 50% off if you pay through PayPal for the remainder of the season. You can do that by joining the Team 53 Discord and then look for our Teams Dues link, which is in a channel in there. So best of luck, and we will see you guys in the next video.